Hello, MavMind Collective, and welcome to another episode of the Hypno Sales Show. Today we're going to talk about how to interview a sales rep, part 6. All right, this is the final part and the final question in my sequence of questions that I ask sales reps. If you want to go back and watch parts 1 through 5, you can see all the questions from the beginning all the way until now. But this is the last and final one, and it has a very significant purpose and why I include it. You'll see in a moment why I include this one in my set of questions that I've been asking sales reps for over 15 years. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of sales reps for my own team, for other people's team. They've asked me to interview their candidates, and I always ask all these questions in this 6-part series that I've been revealing to you each week. And so this is the final one, and it's always the last question I ask at the very end of the interview. I make sure I have about 5 minutes of the interview left, and I say, all right, I have one final question for you, and it's this. How many questions have I asked you this whole time, including the one I'm asking right now? How many questions have I asked you this whole interview, including the one I'm asking you right now? And then I be quiet and I listen to how they answer. Now, how they answer is a very good indicator of how they're going to deal with the situation when a client or a prospect asks them for something unexpected. Ask them for something, they have a very, maybe it could be an unrealistic expectation, it could be an unexpected or surprise expectation. But when prospects and clients do that, I want to know like what the sales rep candidate, how they're going to handle that. So that's why I use this question. I come out of the blue. I never told them that I wanted them to keep track of how many questions there were. I just suddenly pretend like at the end I expected them to do that. Just like a client or prospect might surprise them with something like this. And I kind of just listen, and it's more like how they answer it, not what their actual answer is. Okay, it's not the actual answer that counts. It's how they handle this unexpected question. That's kind of technical, and if you were keeping track, you might actually know the answer. So I know they don't have the answer. I don't expect them to have the answer, and I'm just waiting for their reaction to see how they handle it. So typically, a good, strong sales rep, that's a good team player and has a sense of humbleness and a sense of collaborating and just being part of the group. They're usually going to answer with, I don't know, or I wasn't keeping track, I'm sorry, or they'll say, I wasn't keeping track, but if I were to guess, I might guess maybe 15 or maybe 18. And they make it very clear that they weren't keeping track, but they go ahead and they try to answer it anyway. I wasn't expecting this question, I wasn't keeping track, I didn't know I was supposed to, but if I were to guess, it's probably 18 or 19. Am I right? Is that close? Right? Or they might do this. They might say, I'm not really totally sure, but it's probably anywhere between 10 and 20 questions, somewhere in there. And they'll give me like a range. So they won't be exact, but they'll at least try to hedge it. So they know it's like more than 10, but it can't be more than 25. So they, 10 to 25, 30, somewhere in there, right? They'll do like that. And to me, those are not bad answers. In fact, that's probably what I would prefer, someone that to kind of admit that they don't know, but then try to give me something. They try to answer it anyway to show that they're making an effort to try to get close to what maybe I'm expecting. And then they try to listen for what I say to use my feedback as, oh, no, I don't, maybe you're right, maybe you're not. They'll use that as a way to maybe refine their answer and get closer to meeting me in the middle somewhere, meeting me to where they're happy and I'm happy with the answer. Okay, that's what they're doing. Now, I will say though, every now and then I do get some sales rep candidates that will answer this question like this. They will say, 17. And then that's all they say. They just give me a number, 17. And if you're in person with them, they'll actually do a body language thing like this. I've noticed this over the years. They'll do like this. I ask this question, and then their hand will go like this, and they'll cover their mouth, just like this. And then they'll say the answer like this, 17. Okay, do you see how I did that? So if you're listening on the podcast, what they're doing is they cover their mouth, they lift their lips above their hand, and they say 17, and then they cover their mouth again. So they're basically they're using body language to protect their mouth from saying anything else until they hear what my reaction is to their answer of 17 or 19 or whatever. They just give me an answer. Now, what I've been able to figure out over the years of asking sales reps this question, and when they do that, what they're doing is they're trying to take a guess, but they don't want to let you know that they're guessing. They're trying to be exact because they're hedging the bet that if you go, wow, that's exactly right, how did you know? Then their answer would be, well, because I'm good. I'm good at sales, and I'm really good at listening. And they'll try to spin the fact that they got the answer correct. They'll spin it into like, it's just skill, baby. Man, I know what I'm doing, you know. And that's typically like, that's the sales rep. That's what their mentality, that's what their psychology is they want to impress everyone. Yeah, I know how to do this. I was keeping track. You didn't know I was, but I was keeping track. They try to sort of like BS you a little bit. They're sort of a BSer type of a sales rep when they do it like that. And they take that chance because if you say, nope, that wasn't it, then they'll say, they might, and usually when they guess like that, they give you an answer. I usually say incorrect. I'll just tell them automatically, nope, that's not it. Because I want to see how they're going to deal with that now. Because if a customer was doing it and they took a chance and gave them an answer, and then the customer said, nope, that's not, how are they going to deal with that? So I continue to role play with them on the question. I'll say, nope, incorrect, that's wrong. You were wrong. And I'll kind of be really definitive like that. And then this is usually what I'll get. Well, I was kind of guessing. I wasn't sure. It just seemed like 17 because I was deducing that, it's an hour meeting, hour interview, and you were asking questions about every 5 minutes, and they'll give you a reasoning, like what's the formula that they use to decide that it was 17, and they'll try to kind of backpedal a little bit and kind of, I didn't really know, but I was thinking it was pretty close. Or if they're really kind of cocky, they'll do like this. They cover their mouth, and when you say incorrect, they uncover their mouth and they go, actually, I think I'm right. I don't think I'm incorrect. I'm pretty sure I'm 17 because I pretty much counted and it was and they'll start BSing me even more. And that's usually a red flag. When they start trying to convince me that I'm wrong and that they're right in their answer, it's kind of a selfish, narcissistic, I don't know what it is. It's just ego. Their ego is just like, they're just afraid to say, I don't know, or I don't have an answer. They want to impress you so much to get the job that they're not going to be humble enough to say, I don't know. So typically, I see that as a red flag when they try to argue with me over it. Because the reality is, I don't even know how many questions I asked. If they ever ask me like, well, how many did you ask? I always say, I have no idea. I just wanted to see how you would handle that when I gave you that unexpected question. That's all. It's about how they answer, not about what they answer. I don't even care what the number is. I just want to see, do they get defensive? Do they try to convince me I'm wrong? Or do they accept the fact and admit that, hey, I might not know this, but I'm going to try. I think it's a range. I think it could be 17. And then I let them have that opportunity either to be frank and upfront with me or to give them enough rope to hang themselves, basically. So that's why I like this question, and I always use it at the very end. And if you start using this question too, you'll see what I mean. It'll be pretty interesting to see how the different answers really give you that gut feel indication of how they're going to be in front of customers and prospects. And ultimately, that's what I want to figure out. So I can keep them happy and make sure I'm hiring the right person for the right job. And that if they are a rock star and they are humble and they want to learn and they want to grow, they'll let me train them, they'll let me coach them, they'll work with the team in a very cohesive way, very congruent way, and we can all work together to make as much money as we can, make as many customers as happy and satisfied as we can, and as successful as we can. And ultimately, that's what we're wanting to do when we grow our sales team. Thank you for watching. I know you find value in these videos now, didn't you? And if you, like me, are in a customer-facing role, I'm wondering if you want to watch another video now designed to help you get better at what you do every day. Or not. You don't have to watch another video if you don't want to.